I want to dedicate my speech to something I call beyond your title. You say United Local Synergy. I think at some point, this United Local Synergy should emerge as Team Malaysia. And why do we want to talk about Team Malaysia? The National Semiconductor Strategy launched by Prime Minister Dato' Sri Anwar Ibrahim on 28th of May last year put the emphasis on creating 10 Malaysian companies that has a revenue of $1 billion and 100 Malaysian companies that has a revenue of 1 billion ringgit, hopefully in the next decade. Among all the objectives, I think that is the core objective. And why we say so? We say so because we understood that we have built up this ecosystem, we have built up this supply chain, we have built up capabilities over the last 50 over years in Penang and throughout Malaysia. But we have not seen a Samsung, we have not seen a TSMC, we have not seen multiple companies on global front, particularly when we compare ourselves with Korea and Taiwan. Professor Kuan Lee famously talked about this comparison. We compare Taiwan, compare Shenzhen, compare with Korea. Penang actually started some of the activities much earlier than some other places, but we have not created Team Malaysia. Partly because perhaps maybe we are very, very intertwined with the global supply chain and everyone is doing very well, so there was no need to look at creating Team Malaysia. But I think this is time that we have to do things differently. We are now facing a once in 80-year shift globally. You don't need me to tell you what is happening. Every day you look at the newspaper, there are new things happening, new announcement by the US president. But for many people who think that this is very new, I say perhaps this started with the 2008 global financial crisis, followed by the first Trump administration. And in terms of trade, actually the Biden administration followed very closely with what the first Trump administration has implemented. So we are now coming to a major shift globally. Trade will become different from now on. We used to think that there is one single global supply chain. I think that is ending. There will be multiple regional supply chain. Okay? There will be multiple regional supply chain. There may be even conflicting blocks that don't necessarily want to work with each other. So we have to find our space. We in Malaysia, we in Penang, we have to build on our strength and build on what we can offer to the world and we can offer to different supply chain and how to navigate this both as a government and as a people as well as business. We need to do things differently. And I applaud you for what you're doing today. It is very important. One of the key change that we want to initiate is also more horizontal crossing. Okay? Our semiconductor industry in Malaysia, particularly in Penang, is very well connected globally. But a lot of those connections are vertical connections. What I mean by that? In May 2023, I was in Detroit attending a meeting, an APEC meeting on behalf of the government of Malaysia and on behalf of my minister. US Commerce Secretary then, Gina Raimondo, told the crowd, or told the ministers, she said, during COVID, when Malaysia shut down the factory or locked down the factory, General Motors had to shut down, and multiple US companies in Detroit had to shut down. Because Malaysia produced 30% of global shares of automotive chips. However, the automotive industry in Malaysia, say for example Proton and Perodua, they don't produce their chips or they don't create their IC design here. So we have a very strong semiconductor sector, but the semiconductor sector is not horizontally linked to the automotive sector. The semiconductor sector is not linked to the defense industry. The semiconductor sector is not linked to the medical devices industry. The semiconductor sector is not linked to, let's say, farming or agriculture. I know Wittrox is starting something. I know Pentamaster is starting something on medical devices. But what we want to do is to work with you to build synergy. As you say, to build synergy, to build horizontal crossing, and to create a lot more Malaysian IP, so that we build Malaysian technology. Our aspiration is not to go to become global champion. Okay, I want to say this because many people think that we are chasing top technology. We want to fortify, instead of thinking of superseding and overcoming US, China, Japan, Korea, Taiwan, Germany and France in the next 10 years, we are not doing that. What we want to fortify is we want to fortify Malaysia's position as the indispensable middle. That means our semiconductor industry and all other industry powered by our semiconductor technology, we want it to be able to fortify a middle where we are not chasing top technology, but we are very strong in the middle, and we can work with the European bloc, we can work with the US bloc, we can work with the China bloc, because we're not chasing top technology, but we are fortifying a very strong middle where we provide excellent technology, and we create Malaysian technology. And that's our hope. We're hoping that this shift in the semiconductor sector can create horizontal linkages and create Malaysian technology, so that we no longer just use technology, but we actually create our technology, create our IP. And who do we serve? Globally, as I say, we are seeing major shift. And in this global shift, we have to expect that at some point, the US may wall itself up and say, okay, you cannot export so many things to me. I mean, this thing in the long run will happen. You're already seeing the sign, and you're really seeing the shift. As I say, we want to fortify a position as the indispensable middle. We still work with multinationals, but we also want to create technology, our own IP, so that we can serve the world. The world is a very different place now. 50 years ago, you do not expect Brazil having rich people, or Brazil being too rich, because Brazil's economy wasn't that rich in the last 50 years. You would not expect a rising India. You would not expect, and even 10 years ago, you would not imagine that Saudi Arabia is seriously trying to build a semiconductor sector. So we want to create a team Malaysia, so that we can work with Saudi, we can work with India, we can work with Brazil, we can work with many other nations who wants to build a semiconductor sector. I just came back from India on Saturday. I spent a week there talking to different organizations. I talked to the Indian Semiconductor and Electronic Association. I spoke to the Indian Chemical Council. I spoke to various organizations, FICCI, which is their national chamber. What we are hoping to do is to create a semiconductor collaboration, so that Malaysian capabilities, especially those who are working with multinationals in Penang and in Malaysia, and these multinationals are investing in India. The same companies are investing in India. We're hoping to create a trilateral relationship, so that we can work with them and we can serve them in a Team Malaysian format. So these are things that we are hoping to do together with you, and I really think what you are doing today, what EK and all of you are doing today, is fantastic. You are creating local synergy, but more than local synergy, you are creating a template for a united Team Malaysia, and we want to approach the world in this global shift as Team Malaysia, and we want to present the world with all your capability, and we want to be known not just as a trading nation, we want Malaysia to be known as a technology nation. Thank you very much.